Hi everybody and welcome back to Borderlines on this lovely day today. So what we thought we'd talk to you about today is what are the 10 poorest places that you can look at moving to in the UK. Now when we say poor, doesn't mean they're generally dirt poor or anything. What you've got to take into account is what housing prices are like, okay, what salaries are like, okay, and all the other things to do with the cost of living. Okay, so if, for instance, the average salary in the area is only 25 grand and the housing's like 500,000 on average, you got a fundamental problem. Okay, so it could potentially end up on the top 10. Okay, so what we thought we'd do is take a look at the top 10, basically taking into account exposable income. Okay, so here we go. We're going to run through them. Okay, and some of them are a bit of a surprise, some of them aren't quite so much of a surprise. Okay, so in at number 10 is Leicester, up in the East Midlands. One of my football team's rivals. Okay, so Leicester comes in at number 10. At number 9, we're going to go off to Wales, okay, which is Newport. And obviously Newport's had its problems over the years with the loss of jobs and everything, you know, to do with steel industry, probably the coal industry as well, you know, all that type of stuff where just thousands and thousands of jobs have just gone. Okay, so number 8, this isn't a surprise, is Oxford. Now the thing with Oxford is extremely expensive for housing, very close to London. Okay, and obviously if wages can't keep up, you're going to have a fundamental problem. So Oxford comes in at number 8. Okay, yet again, another one I'm not surprised by is Bath. Bath is on the main route to Cardiff. It's also on the main route to London. Okay, and Bath is one of the most expensive places to live in the UK. I think it only really comes second to London at the end of the day. I think average house price is around about 530 grand, and no different to Oxford. If wages can't keep up, what's going to happen? It's going to end up on our top 10, and it comes in at number 7. Okay, so in at number 6, we're going to go up to Lancashire. Okay, with Preston. Okay, now when it comes to Preston, Preston has a slight problem, especially when it comes to wages, because they've got a poverty rate of 26%. Okay, which is absolutely ridiculous, and it comes in 5th for the lowest average monthly income anywhere in the UK, which is ridiculous. But unfortunately, that is the case. So maybe the Labour government need to do something about it. Okay, in at number 5. Okay, and this is it's not so much of a surprise, this one, because York comes in at number 5, and York can be quite expensive to live in. I think the average house price is around about £300,000. So it's not too much of a surprise, and obviously they do have a problem with poverty up around York, which is something I didn't actually know until quite recently. Now Manchester comes in at number 4. Now house prices in recent years have gone up quite a lot around the Manchester area, and most of that's because a lot of business has gone up to Manchester. You've got the likes of the BBC have put offices up there, and yet again, if you're not able to keep up, guess what? You're going to end up 4th. Okay, in at number 3. Okay, we have Plymouth. Okay, at number 2, and this one doesn't surprise me in the least, is Brighton and Hove. Now the problem with Brighton and Hove Okay, it's on the main route to London. Okay, I can say this because I live in a place called Leon Solent, and I used to live in Southampton. And one of the trains that comes from Southampton goes to Brighton and then goes straight up to, it's not King Cross, Victoria train station. So it is on a main route to London. Okay. Also, house prices can be extremely expensive. They're some of the most expensive on the south coast are in Brighton. And it's not known for paying massive wages as well. So that is one of the fundamental problems. And there's also reports that something like 82% are unemployed in Brighton as well, which is ridiculous. And in at number one, this doesn't surprise me in the least, because I read a report recently that the poorest city in the UK over about the last 5 years, and it's always been around the top three, or bottom three, however you want to put it, is Nottingham. You know, so Nottingham is classified as the poorest town in the whole of the UK, which is a bit sad, you know, because being a Nottingham Forest supporter and everything, it has got the label, as things stands, of being the poorest city. So I would suspect our wonderful Prime Minister might want to take a look at all of these 10 cities and see what he can do. Because, you know, you've got some big name cities here which arguably shouldn't be in the position that they're in. So for anybody that is looking at moving, I would suggest these are places you might want to think twice about, unless they're places you're looking at retiring to. Especially if you're going into the job market, stay away. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.